aboard.
Once we lift off, we're just a few miles from ZD Labs. Make sure your seatbelts are fastened and all other publications are stored under the seat.
Welcome to Corporate Computing's Heli Tour to ZD Labs. Once you see what ZD Labs has to offer, the power of corporate computing's editorial becomes clear. Before we created corporate computing, we built ZD Labs to provide a depth of information that most companies can't afford to do themselves.
Just below us is Corporate Computing's headquarters. I'll take you once around and then we'll head for the labs.
Located in Foster City, just blocks away from Corporate Computing's offices, ZD Labs represents a multi-million-dollar investment unduplicated anywhere. Multi-platform testing, LAN and WAN testing, product comparison testing, and benchmark creation. Over 33,000 square feet in all.
Hey, there's Bill coming out. I'll set it down and you'll be on your tour in moments.
Bill Machrone is Ziff Davis's Vice President of Technology. Today he'll show you what makes corporate computing unique. A laboratory that mirrors the buying needs of corporate computing's readers. For only corporate computing can provide these buyers with the information necessary to deploy applications at the largest and most complex sites.
Hi, welcome to ZD Labs. Come on in. Here we are in the lobby of ZD Labs, and this is where it all happens, all of that product testing that we do for corporate computing. The uniqueness that we have here is, first, the scale of it. It's huge. We have 33,000 feet of testing space here, 500 machines, a mainframe, mini computers, 31 miles of LAN. We don't think it can be duplicated by any other agency that purports to call itself a testing lab. And this is a multi-million-dollar facility that we built over years' time with a lot of planning, and we do it all here. We do the desktop, the connectivity in between, the software, right up into the machine room, all of that stuff that those people need in order to do product evaluation for those big corporate sites. Come on, I'll show you where it all happens. Here's another product off for review. We hope it does well. This is the administrative side of the labs building. And down here we have our receiving area. And it's actually a fairly large warehousing operation. And as you can imagine, with millions of dollars of product coming in and out of here, we've got a lot of security. In fact, we make a point of it. Things get pretty hectic here in the receiving area. We receive, send, and warehouse an awful lot of equipment, and it's pretty tough keeping track of it because there's thousands and thousands of valuable products flowing out of here every year. So we use state-of-the-art methods to take care of it. For instance, we barcode all of the equipment that comes in, and then we use devices like this combination barcode reader and transmitter receiver to query databases automatically. We can just point at the equipment, shoot it, and know on the screen who this equipment belongs to, why it's here, and what tests are going to be performed on it. And the big job here is to move everything from receiving quickly into the test area. Let's go there now, and I'll show you what goes on there. Here we are in the main lab. We've got every kind of product test imaginable going on here. We've got desktop peripherals through mainframe tests, through every kind of decision support and high-end operating system test you can imagine. These engineers, for instance, are working on decision support. They're working closely with the editors of corporate computing to develop new standards for testing decision support software. The file sizes are huge, the databases are enormous, and we're producing an awful lot of data. Here's something completely different. We're looking at desktop systems. These are the new high-performance video systems using the VL bus. Once we're done here, we'll know exactly which one works best. At the end of every bench, we've got an administrative station where our people stay in touch with email, they communicate with one another, and all of our magazines. You'll find every kind of test going on here. We've got OS/2 front ends, databases, operating systems, everything imaginable. It's always busy here, 24 hours a day. Speaking of operations that never end, it's always dark in this room. And if you start looking at some of the equipment that we test in here, you can understand why. We test monitors in here, and there's a lot more to testing monitors than meets the eye. You need some pretty specialized equipment, and we've got it here. This microvision superspot, for instance, looks at the test patterns that we throw up on the screen and then analyzes each and every pixel and can tell you everything there is to know about this monitor's quality, its ability to perform under all kinds of conditions, and it's extremely sensitive equipment. So sensitive, in fact, that we have to isolate it from vibrations as slight as a footstep. It sits on this big heavy air table and it's floating on 4 columns of air. It's always balancing itself and it's always isolating this measurement from the outside world. Talk about isolation from the outside world. Here's a different kind of isolation. These are our beta rooms, and we keep a very high level of security in these 3 rooms. There are dual security monitors in the hall, and they watch 24 hours a day to make sure that people who come and go here are supposed to be here. Each room has its own security access level and its own entrance and exit security. These are very tightly built rooms as well. There are rules as to how equipment needs to be stored, and we actually have reinforcements in the walls, in the ceilings. You can't go through the ceiling tiles and into these rooms. It's a big responsibility when you have manufacturer's equipment before it's shipped, and we live up to that responsibility here. Physical measurements are critically important at ZD Labs. We've got a lot of specialized equipment so that we can measure things that happen in the outside world in ways that are accurate, repeatable, dependable. This Faraday cage or screen room that we're in right now is electrically silent once we close this door. We can make sensitive measurements inside, or we can create large disturbances within this room without having those noises or signals get out into the general lab. We also do a lot of other critical measurements here. We have a soundproof room for measuring the sounds and the noises that computers make. People like a silent machine working at the side of their desk, for instance. We can imitate any kind of phone line, from a solid piece of copper wire through the worst kind of connection you can imagine. And we can test modems and their ability to dial through that noise and get the communications through despite whatever might be going on in the phone system. Connectivity gets a lot more complex once you get to the corporate world, but it all comes home to roost here in the data center. Here's where the wide area networks connect with the outside world, where we make connections through the telephone system to remote computers, as well as the many computers we have here. We've got a small mainframe and several mini computers, including a Spark server, several VAXs, an R4000, and just about everything else we need to do exactly what corporate computing's readers do. Tie it all together, connect the LANs to the WANs, and make it all work. Here we are in the LAN lab. Things don't get any more specialized than they are here. This room is purpose-built. We've got more than 250 machines in here, and they're all designed for one sole purpose, and that's to bring networks to their knees. We can test servers, LAN media, any kind of connection we want to. We can do pretty much anything we need in here. We've got Macintoshes, PCs, workstations, every kind of equipment necessary, plus 31 miles of wire to connect them, 1,500 possible connections and ways to put them together. There's nothing that we can't slow down to a crawl or stop dead in its tracks with the kind of equipment that we have here. I hope we've given you an appreciation for the work we do here at ZD Labs and all the product testing that we do for corporate computing. We have a lot of fun testing these products, and we hope you've had some fun joining us and seeing what we do here. But I see your helicopter awaits, and it's time to get into those friendly skies. So thanks again for joining us, and we hope you come back soon.
As we leave the labs, you can see that corporate computing provides a view of the large site marketplace that no other publication can offer. That corporate computing is uniquely qualified to deliver the most important buyers at the most important sites. Thanks for joining us. We hope to see you in our skies again soon.